struggled with my weight since I was in about 5th grade. So it's always been something that I've worried about. And I started jogging, like with my Walkman when I was in 5th and 6th grade. And my teacher told me I needed to start jogging. So I did. And ever since then, I've had to watch what I've eaten. And I've always been that person that when people say, oh, I just want my high school body back, or I used to not have to worry about it, I want to be like, what? There was a time when you didn't have to worry? Because I always had to worry. So I've always looked for various ways to control my weight. And I've always been about a size 10, maybe. And that's through lots of exercise and being very careful with my food. And I've read tons of nutrition books, probably like 200 nutrition books throughout my life. And I found after I had my second child, I did P90X and I really got into weightlifting and I got into clean eating and I got into bodybuilding. And I found that I could manipulate my food and make some big changes in my body. And it was really exciting. And I got super, super strict with my food. And I got some good results, but I found the minute that I stopped doing exactly like maybe packing my cooler every day, eating asparagus and tilapia or chicken and broccoli, and I was doing that like 5 times a day. And as soon as I went off of that regimen at all, I would immediately gain a lot of weight back. And I've probably done that through my whole 30s. I've been super strict to moderately strict, and I've gained and lost 30 pounds like 15 times. And it's exhausting. It's really exhausting. When I got closer to 40, I realized that I had to put in a lot of cardio with my weight training to get my weight where I wanted it to be. And that was, back into a size 10. And so I was doing weightlifting combined with cardio in the morning, and then often I go running at night. And had a series of, I just had a super rough year this year. I've been taking care of my mom that has Alzheimer's and moved from Hawaii to Utah, which was a huge transition. And I got to this last summer and I was really, really discouraged. And I had a friend tell me, maybe you need to go on depression medication, because all the exercise I was doing, all the food I was eating wasn't doing the trick anymore. And I was in a size 14, closer to a size 16. So I went to CrossFit, of course, because isn't that what people do when they need to lose weight? They get desperate, like, I'm doing CrossFit. So I did CrossFit. I did running after CrossFit, and then I would go hike and run at night. And I meal prepped. And after 2 months, I had not lost any weight. So that was extremely discouraging. I had a friend who had done Take Shape for Life. I had talked to her in June and she had told me about the fuelings. And the second I heard fuelings, I was like, I am out. No way. Not for me. Never will do it. So I kind of shelved that away. And then in August, when I had gained maybe 12 more pounds, I'm like, I think I'm going to call her back and ask her. She seems to be keeping her weight off. And anyway, I called her back. She's like, I'm so glad you did. Let's try this. I know it will work for you. It worked for me. And she was just like me, crazy exercise person. And so she asked what I would rather do, the 5 and 1 or the 4 and 2. And I told her, hey, I just want this weight off yesterday. Like, let's do the 5 and 1. And that was very, very difficult for me to mentally give up my workouts. I thought that the minute I did, I would immediately gain like 30 pounds. So once I required a lot of coaching. And once I really saw that the 5 and 1 worked and the food worked, it was quite magical for me. I felt like I had been let out of prison to be able to eat chocolate and a brownie and a pancake and chips. I was like, my mind was blown that these foods could actually help me lose weight. And then I started really reading Dr. A's Habits of Health. And at first I didn't know if I bought into it. I was like, this seems different. I'm not sure. But then when I saw it working physically for my body, I was like, these people are onto something. So I probably lost 10 pounds. And then I went off the program for a weekend to go to a cabin. And then when I got home, I binge ate that entire next week, like really off the program completely. I ate all the foods, and my coach checked in with me. How are you doing? I'm like, I'm terrible. I'm absolutely terrible. And she's like, okay, we're getting back on tomorrow. And she kind of talked me through it. And I realized I had not been working the habits of health. So even though I had read some of the book, I hadn't done any Zoom calls. I hadn't really been working on like the inside, and I hadn't changed my mind. That was a complete game changer. Stop, challenge, choose. The whole time I was like, this video was made for me. I watched it. I started employing the techniques. And after that, I haven't had any problems with emotional eating. I have worked the habits of health like crazy. I listen to them while I do my exercise, which now is 15 minutes a day, 3 times a week. Just crazy. Like I've cut my workouts back to almost, not like almost nothing, but just body weight stuff. I mean, it's so silly. I do it in my bedroom. I do push-ups, squats, some planks. If I don't get to it, it's totally fine. And it's mentally a really cool thing. So my brother noticed that I was losing weight. He and I are kind of like Irish twins that are 10 years apart. And as soon as he noticed I was losing weight, he's like, what are you doing? And why haven't you told me? And I felt so bad because I had kind of been almost lying to him. I'd been hiding it from him because I thought, I can't have him talking me out of this. This is working so well. I feel like he's going to talk me out of it. And anyway, as soon as he found out what I was doing, he was like, well, I've got to do this. I want a part of this. And so I talked to him about it, and he's like, that sounds really weird. I don't know if it'll work. I'll let him tell his story. But long story short, I started August 20th. It's the very beginning of January. I turned 40 January 13th. So one of my goals was to get to a healthy weight by my birthday. And the fact that, so I'm in a size 6, but they're all, I noticed yesterday, I'm going to have to go get more jeans because they're all getting too big. I don't think I've worn this size since maybe the 3rd or the 4th grade. So I'm really like, the fact that I've done no cardio. Really, I do walking. I mean, I'm like a really active person, but I've done no like specific cardio workouts since August 20th. I just do my body weight stuff, and my body's melting away. But really what I can truly say is the changes that have happened on the inside are probably 85% of the difference for me in where I'm at now compared to where I was. I was in a really, really dark place, and I feel so happy. And